Darani. Darani by Eihei Dogen. From Shobogenzo, the treasury of the true Dharma Eye. Those whose eyes of learning in practice are clear in the eye of right Dharma. Because they are clear in the eye of right Dharma, they are able to be clear-eyed in learning in practice. The authentic transmission of this pivot is inevitably due to the influence of paying respect to a great good counselor, which is the great purpose itself and the great Darani itself. A great good counselor means a Buddhist patriarch to whom, without fail, we should sincerely serve towel and flask. Thus, in bringing tea and in making tea, the pivot of the mind is realized, and mystical powers are realized. Bringing a tub of water and pouring water away are the state of not disturbing circumstances and of witnessing everything from the wings. To perform such service is not only to learn the pivot of the Buddhist patriarch's mind, it is to meet inside the pivot of the mind with one Buddhist patriarch or with two Buddhist patriarchs. It is not only to receive and to use the Buddhist patriarch's mystical powers. It is to have got, inside the state of mystical power, 7 Buddhist patriarchs or Buddhist patriarchs. Thus, all the mystical power of the Buddhist patriarchs is perfectly realized in this one bundle. Every aspect of the pivot of the mind of the Buddhist patriarchs is perfectly realized in this one stroke. For this reason, although it is not wrong to use heavenly flowers and divine incense in paying respect to Buddhist patriarchs, to pay respect and to serve offerings with an act of Darani in the state of Samadhi is just to be a child or grandchild of the Buddhist patriarchs. What I have called the Great Darani is personal salutations. Because personal salutations are the Great Darani, we mutually encounter the reality of personal salutations. The word for personal salutations, ninji, which represents the sound of the Chinese word, has long been current in civilized society, but the custom of personal salutations was neither received from the Brahma heavens, nor received from the Western heavens. Its authentic transmission has been received from the Buddhist patriarchs. It is beyond the limited world of sound and form. Do not discuss it as before or after the Buddha King majestic sound. The personal salutations of which I speak are the burning of incense and prostration. We have as our original master the master who made us a monk, or the master who transmitted to us the Dharma. And sometimes the master who transmitted to us the Dharma is the master who made us a monk. Unfailingly to depend upon and pay respect to these original masters is a Darani that invokes their teaching. We should, as is often said, practice under them and serve them without wasting a single moment. At the beginning and end of the retreat, at the winter solstice, and at the beginning and middle of the month, we burn incense and do prostrations without fail. The method is as follows: either before breakfast or just after breakfast, which are the established times, we visit the Master's quarters, dressed in the dignified manner. Dressed in the dignified manner means wearing the kashaya, carrying the prostration cloth, and wearing sandals and socks. Dressed like this, and carrying a stick of aloes, sandalwood, or other incense, we proceed to the Master's quarters. When we come in front of the Master, we bow with joined hands. Then the attendant monk prepares the incense burner and sets up a candle. If the Master is already seated on the Master's chair, we may burn incense at once. And if the Master is behind the curtain, we may burn incense at once. At times, when the Master is lying down, eating, or the like, we may burn incense straight away too. If the Master is standing on the ground, as we bow with joined hands, we should ask the Master to be seated, or we may ask the Master to be comfortable. There are many formulas for asking the Master to be seated. After we have got the Master to sit on the Master's chair, we bow with joined hands, bowing low according to the proper method. Having completed the greeting, we walk up to the front of the incense desk and place in the incense burner the stick of incense that we have been carrying. The incense to be used is sometimes tucked under the back of the collar, sometimes held in an inside breast pocket, and sometimes carried in the sleeves. It is a matter of individual preference. After the bow of greeting, we take out this piece of incense. If it is wrapped in paper, we turn our shoulders to our right-hand side and remove the wrapping paper. Then we lift the incense up with both hands and stand it in the burner. We should stand it up straight. Do not let it lean to one side. After setting up the piece of incense, we fold the hands and walk around to the right. When we arrive in front of the Master, we bow deeply with joined hands according to the proper method, spread the prostration cloth, and do prostrations. We do 9 prostrations, or sometimes 12 prostrations. Having completed the prostrations, we fold the prostration cloth and bow with joined hands. In some cases, having spread the prostration cloth once and done 3 prostrations, we pay the compliments of the season. But for the 9 prostrations described now, we should just do 3 rounds of 3 prostrations, with the prostration cloth spread once, and not say the season's greetings. The above formality has been transmitted from the 7 Buddhas in the distant past, and we have received its authentic transmission as the fundamental teaching. Therefore, we practice this formality. Whenever the time comes to do prostrations like this, we do so without fail. In addition, we do prostrations whenever we have been covered by the benevolence of Dharma, and we do prostrations in order to request the Master's teaching on a story. When, in the past, the second patriarch presented his viewpoint to the first patriarch, that was an example of doing 3 prostrations. To exhibit the presence of the right Dharma eye treasury, we do 3 prostrations. Remember, prostration is the right Dharma eye treasury, and the right Dharma eye treasury is the great Darani. For prostrations when requesting the teaching, recently many people do 1 prostration in which the head bumps the ground, but the traditional standard is 3 prostrations. The prostration of thanks for the benevolence of Dharma is not necessarily 9 prostrations or 12 prostrations. It may be 3 prostrations or 1 informal prostration, or 6 prostrations. All of these are prostrations in which the head is bowed down to the ground. In India, these are called the highest worship. In doing 6 prostrations, for instance, we hit the ground with the head. That is, we strike the forehead upon the ground, even to the point of bleeding. For these prostrations also, the prostration cloth is laid out. Whether doing 1 prostration, 3 prostrations, or 6 prostrations, we hit the ground with the forehead. This is sometimes called kowtowing. Such prostration is present in secular society too. In secular society, there are 9 kinds of prostration. When requesting the benevolence of Dharma, we also have continuous prostrations. That is to say, we do prostrations ceaselessly, continuing even for hundreds or thousands of prostrations. All of these are prostrations that have been practiced in the orders of Buddhist patriarchs. In general, we should practice these prostrations according to the proper method, observing the Master's directions. In general, while prostrations exist in the world, the Buddha Dharma exists in the world. If prostrations disappear, the Buddha Dharma will perish. When we are prostrating ourselves to the Master who transmitted to us the Dharma, we prostrate ourselves without selecting a time or worrying about the place. Sometimes we do prostrations while the Master is lying down or eating, or even while the Master is going to the toilet. Sometimes we prostrate from afar, with fences and walls between us, or with mountains and rivers between us. Sometimes we prostrate with kalpas between us. Sometimes we prostrate with living and dying, and coming and going between us. And sometimes we prostrate with the state of Bodhi and nirvana between us. While the disciple performs these many kinds of prostration, the master does not return the prostration, but only joins hands. Occasionally, the master may do a single prostration, but as a general rule, the master does not. At the time of such prostrations, we always prostrate ourselves facing north. The master, facing south, sits erect. The disciple stands on the ground before the master, facing north and aiming at the master. The disciple prostrates to the master. This is the original standard. It is an authentic tradition that when devoted right belief emerges in us, a prostration facing north is inevitably the first thing we do. Thus, in the day of the world-honored one, the human multitudes, celestial throngs, and dragon herds that devoted themselves to the Buddha all face north to venerate and to do prostrations to the world-honored one. At the very beginning, the 5 companions, Ajnata Kaudinya, Asvajit, Mahanama, Bhadrika, and Baspa, after the Tathagata had realized the truth, rose unconsciously to face the Tathagata and to offer their prostrations to him, facing north. When non-Buddhists and bands of demons devoted themselves to the Buddha, having discarded the false, they inevitably prostrated themselves facing north, even though they were caused to do so, neither by themselves nor by others. Since that time, all those who have come to the orders of the 28 generations of ancestral masters in the western heavens, and the many generations of ancestral masters in the eastern lands, wishing to devote themselves to the right Dharma, have naturally prostrated themselves facing north. This is the state of compliance with the right Dharma. It is beyond the intention of master and disciple. This is the great Darani itself. There is a great Darani, and it is called round realization. There is a great Darani, and it is called personal salutations. There is a great Darani, and it is a realized prostration. There is a great Darani, and its name is the Kashaya. There is a great Darani, and its name is the right Dharma Eye Treasury. By this incantation, we have pacified and protected the whole earth. We have pacified and established the whole universe. We have pacified and manifested the whole sphere of time. We have pacified and built the whole world of Buddha, and we have pacified and realized the inside of our huts and the outside of our huts. We should learn in practice, penetrate, and discern that great Darani is like this. All Dharanis see this Darani as their mother word. As dependents of this Darani, all Dharanis are realized. All Buddhist patriarchs, inevitably experience establishment of the mind, pursuit of the truth, realization of the truth, and turning of the Dharma wheel through this gate of Darani. That being so, now that we are already the children and grandchildren of Buddhist patriarchs, we should painstakingly investigate this Darani. In sum, that which was covered by the robe of Shakyamuni Buddha is that which has been covered by the robes of all the Buddhist patriarchs of the 10 directions. That which was covered by the robe of Shakyamuni Buddha is that which is covered by the Kashaya. The Kashaya is the banner of Buddhists. This conclusion is hard to arrive at and hard to meet. Though we are stupid, having received the rare human body in a remote land, the good influence of long accumulated Darani has been realized, and we have been born to meet the Dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha. Though we do prostrations to the self-realized and externally realized Buddhist patriarchs in a place of 100 weeds, it is Shakyamuni Buddha's realization of the truth. It is Shakyamuni Buddha's effort in pursuit of the truth, and it is the mystical transformation of Darani. Though we do prostrations to past Buddhas and present Buddhas in countless trillions of kalpas, they are a moment covered by Shakyamuni Buddha's robe. For the Kashaya to cover the body once is already to have got Shakyamuni Buddha's body and flesh, hands and feet, head and eyes, marrow and brains, state of brightness, and turning of the Dharma wheel. Such is the state in which we wear the Kashaya. This is the realization of wearing the merit of the Kashaya. We retain it and rely upon it. We love it and enjoy it. We preserve it and protect it as time passes, and we wear it to do prostrations and serve offerings to Shakyamuni Buddha. In so doing, we definitely realize and perfectly realize triple asamkhya kalpas of training. To do prostrations and serve offerings to Shakyamuni Buddha means, in some instances, to do prostrations and serve offerings to the Master who transmitted to us the Dharma, or to do prostrations and serve offerings to the Master who shaved our head. It is just to meet Shakyamuni Buddha, to serve Shakyamuni Buddha with an offering of Dharma, and to serve Shakyamuni Buddha with an offering of Darani. My late Master Tendo, the Eternal Buddha, said in his preaching, coming over the snow to do prostrations, and remaining amid rice flour to do prostrations, are excellent examples. They are the precedent of the ancestors. They are the great Darani. Preached to the assembly at Kippoji Temple in Eshu in the first year of Kangen.